I grew up in Barrio Logan, which was a great place for culture. That's how I learned about culture. The first culture I learned was Mexican culture, so that was pretty incredible, uh, especially for an African American that is really so far away from home and our own culture. So the Mexican culture is very close to our own culture. We both eat rice and beans, corn, which is our staple. One thing I love about the Mexican people is family. And I long for that family feeling because my parents were torn away with alcohol. Everything was just in chaos. That's the culture that really saved me, and I would visit and I was there and, different occasions and celebrations to find out that we had similar celebrations. So to grow up in San Diego is to grow up Mexican. If you open your heart, or also working in the fields. When other kids were just messing off and going to jail, I didn't want to go to jail. I didn't want to get in trouble, and I didn't by hanging out with my Mexican families too. I went to the fields and I worked. So I started fighting for the rights of, probably your aunties and probably your grandmas. And when I would go there, I would get on a bus in San Ysidro and I would get bussed into the farms. They weren't getting their checks. They weren't getting their, breaks. And if you work the fields, those are long hours. And strawberry picking is the hardest because it's stoop labor. You have to keep going down the aisle, stooping. So I realized that they hadn't gotten checks in weeks. So I started fighting for their rights. Eventually I got fired, but that set some pace. That it's human rights. So the Mexican people have added a lot to my culture as an African American. I can't say enough good things about them. It saved my life. Then I started studying the Olmecs, the Olmeca culture. And then I started looking at it. These lips are black and they have braids. I don't understand what the Olmecs are. What was the Olmecas? And I found out the Olmecas were all in these Americas, all up here. Mexican people should be very proud because you had the first liberated slaves in this hemisphere. And you had the first black president, Vincent Guerrero. Not Obama. Oh, so you've had a lot of achievement. Growing up in my community as an African American, you crossed over. You see Mexicans that are hanging out, and they thought they were black. So then you see blacks hanging out with Mexicans. Sometimes there was friction, but not like it is today. The Brown Berets and the Black Panthers worked together. They worked together on their liberation movement. So we all got to just really embrace each other.
I learned that there's black people in Mexico, and that's real life. There's a black president there and everything. I didn't know that.
We need to unite and have that love and unity with our Mexican brothers and sisters.